Hey, what's up you guys, it's Spartan, and welcome to my deep dive review on the game called Chivalry 2. So now, Chivalry 2 was just released on Steam a few days ago, and after playing this game for over 500 hours, I thought it would be a good idea to give the general community and any players that are wanting to pick up Chivalry 2 now about what they will be getting out of this game. So I will be covering everything there is about this game, including its audio, its graphics, gameplay, value, its social aspects such as parties and like the community, as well as technical aspects such as glitches and bugs in the game. And then I will be giving you guys my overall opinion on this game at the very end of this video. Alright, so what makes this game so great in the first place, honestly, in my opinion, will be its audio, its graphics, and its gameplay. So in its audio, every single hit from your weapon makes a different noise. So every single different weapon in this game, depending on if you hit their head or their leg, or let's say an unarmored opponent versus an armored opponent, makes a different noise. Also, I wanted to mention some of the lines in this game are just absolutely hilarious.
You look like you've had enough, unlike your mom.
You can even spam boasting, or like you can mock your enemy, or you can just go into a full berserker rage and like have your guy start screaming loudly, spinning around a 6-foot long, like 40-pound Highland sword and massacring people as you're just like shouting and screaming in a berserker rage. And it's just absolutely so satisfying, and is easily the best aspect of this entire game. So I would easily rate audio a perfect 10 out of 10. And even with a little star next to it, because it is just so insanely good. Alright, so next up is graphics. How does this game compare graphically to every other medieval game in this genre? So overall, I think Chivalry 2 is one of the best looking games out there. So overall, why is it so good looking? Why does this game look so nice? So the reason I think it looks so nice is because everything around you slowly falls apart. Like, for example, towers will crumble, or catapults will rain down on the walls around you just out of field of view of the player, and like everything is just kind of building up to the environment. The environments in this game are so nice, and it feels like you are generally in this giant medieval battle, and there is so many things going on around you that you cannot control yourself. Like, one good example of this is all the ships in the distance. So if you're landing on this beach, there are dozens and dozens of ships on the beach ready to dock with tons and more medieval soldiers, and they're supported by catapults sometimes, and there's tons of siege engines that you get to push up onto the beaches and stuff like that. So everything just kind of contributes to that feeling of a giant battlefield, and it's just so graphically impressive. And even if you zoom into the environments in the distance, or even on the floor, like if you zoom into the sand, you can see every single little particle of sand on the ground, and the walls all look extremely detailed. The pavement looks so detailed. Everything has like a little bit of a reflection on it, so like the water on the ground reflects. Even after you shoot someone in the chest, blood will splatter out of their chest onto the surrounding area and straight out of where you hit them. And if you cut someone's head off, the blood will go splattering everywhere and start draining onto the floor. Blood will splatter your weapon after you get kills with it. Or let's say an archer starts running away because he got shot or something like that. The blood trail will lead you to where he was going. There will be like a short little blood trail to show you which direction he was running, which is really small details, but it's extremely impressive. And every single environment in this game is extremely detailed, and is just absolutely cluttered with everything that you would expect to see in a defensive situation, like a wall or something like that, or just everything you would see from a day-to-day basis for defending a castle. So overall, I would easily give the graphics in this game a solid 10 out of 10. It is just as perfect as the audio, and is the second best feature of Chivalry 2. So both the audio and the graphics are top tier and are the best out of any medieval game you could ever find. Alright, so on to social aspects of this game. So that includes everything from parties to the overall environment that you get out of like discords and everything to do with this game. So the overall community, as well as your ability to play with other players. So overall, the social is kind of mixed, and it's kind of controversial, and it might be more opinion based than anything else. So the party system is really janky, and there's also no crossplay just yet, so you can only play PC to PC. You can't play with your other friends on different consoles. And another thing to do with the social aspect is this game has an extremely active community and a Discord. So So I would rate Chivalry 2's social aspect about a 6 out of 10, just because of how bad the chat system can be sometimes, since it has no filter, and that there's no crossplay and the party system is pretty janky. Alright, so next up is the gameplay. So how does the gameplay feel and how satisfying is this game? So overall, the siege battles are insanely satisfying and they are intense and chaotic, which is exactly what this game was aiming for. And the weapons sound and feel just right, and the cavalry is a little janky, but it is extremely satisfying to use. And also in gameplay, you also have to count objectives. So all the objectives are unique, satisfying. There's raiding, stealing peasants, burning houses, blowing up towers, pushing rams to this giant siege wall or castle wall. And it's extremely satisfying, and every single objective is very unique and personal for whoever faction you're fighting for. So Masons will try to raid and burn everything they can. They will kill the peasants that you try to save, and then the Agatha faction will try to save the peasants, and they will basically try to take over territories or maybe take out a victorious or like a tyrant of a king. Everything feels really unique. There's actually a lot of lore behind the different factions, and it can be pretty interesting for people that actually care about that kind of stuff. Overall, because of the feeling of the weapons and all the unique different sounds and how chaotic the gameplay can be, the gameplay is easily a 9 out of 10 just because it lacks a little bit of variety, because it only has a few game modes. Really, it really only has 2 game modes, 1v1s and big team battles, pretty much like big siege battles or 1v1s. Honestly, they just need to add brawl in as a permanent game mode, and I would definitely change this to a perfect 10 out of 10. But for now, gameplay is a solid 9 out of 10 and is nearly perfect. Alright, so for the technical aspect of Chivalry 2, which is honestly the most fun and controversial aspect of this entire game, and will honestly win or lose people on whether they like this game or not. So technical aspect of this game basically means how well it runs and how many bugs and exploits there are in this game and how long until they are patched out. So as most of you guys that have played Chivalry 2 know, this game is littered with bugs and glitches and exploits, and it is just absolutely chaotic with how many bugs there are. Like for example, on the day of Steam release, every single game I went into crashed as a server with everyone in it within at least 2 minutes of playing, and that did that 5 times until I just completely gave up on the game and waited a day until they fixed it. And for the funnier aspect of this game is its bugs. So there are flying players, invisible weapons, and invisible players, as well as flying siege engines and flying ramps, I believe it is. Like, it is hilarious to see someone running around invisible with just a giant Highland sword. Like, all you can see is a Highland sword, and they're just spinning around mowing through people. It is pretty much a sentient Highland sword killing people, and it is so funny to see. But honestly, one of the worst bugs that's the most common that you see every single game is invisible weapons. Honestly, when you see an invisible weapon, it's always extremely hard to defeat the player playing it, and it ruins the experience, and it completely ruins the immersion of the game. So overall, technical aspect of this game, so bugs and glitches, is easily one of the worst aspects of this game and will lose a lot of players. So I would rate this around about a 4 out of 10. So it's bad, but not the worst in the world, just because they fix a lot of the exploits, but some of these bugs they just never fix, and it is a huge detriment to this game. Alright, so the value of this game. What is Chivalry 2 worth, and is it worth the asking price of this game? So Chivalry 2 costs currently $24 and is typically $40. So at a $24 price tag, what are you getting out of this game, and is it worth it? So you are getting constant free map expansions and updates, which is about every other month you would get a major update with new weapons and new maps, which is really, really nice to see, because there is this constantly evolving gameplay and evolving lore that is really interesting to see for players that get into this game. And also there's random special game modes that happen every once in a while, such as like brawl modes and other games. And you also get 14 highly detailed maps that are in the game right now. So for $24, you get 14 highly detailed maps, as well as you get multiple other game modes. You get 1v1s, 3v3s, siege matches, TDM, and last team standing, as well as a free-for-all game mode. Now, there aren't the most game modes in the world, but they still are enough for that $24 asking price. And those 14 extremely highly detailed maps and unique objectives for each map is easily worth the $24 for a big 64-player battle. So honestly, I would highly recommend this game, and I would put a price tag on this game at about $40. So I think this game is worth $40 because you can easily put hundreds of hours of gameplay with your friends in this game and still have a bucket load of fun. And it is extremely casual, player friendly, so any player can get into this game. So easily value is a 10 out of 10, is worth $40 or $45, and it only costs $24 at the moment. Alright, so for its overall rating, what you guys all have been waiting for. So what do I think of this game, and do I recommend it to you guys? So overall, this medieval game has the best audio and the best graphics out of any other medieval multiplayer game I have ever seen, and its gameplay is extremely satisfying, and the siege battles are intense and satisfying, and the weapons sound and feel just right, and the cavalry make for a more chaotic game mode if you guys want to use cavalry. So at the moment, it is at a really good price, but it does have a lot of party system issues, no crossplay, and also has a ton of bugs and glitches. So it's not the perfect game in the world because of all the glitches, but it is a masterpiece visually, and how it sounds is just amazing. So overall, I rate this game an 82 out of 100, or also an 8 out of 10. And if you plan on buying this game, or you have recently bought this game, go check out my top 10 best weapons list and top 10 worst weapons list, where I literally completely analyze every single weapon in this game just for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, Spartans.